Thank you so much, Lindsay. I want to give a major shout out to Lindsay for inviting me to be a speaker today. And again, talk about, it is incredible that this is a volunteer-led organization. As a creative person, as creative people, I think you understand that the most valuable thing you have is your time. People are willing to give their time to this organization. You guys are willing to give your time to be here this morning, so thank you for being here. Thanks, Lindsay and the crew. All right. Who the hell am I? Okay. I'm Kristen Pumphrey. I'm the founder, owner, and creative director at PF Chemical. If you don't know who I am, you've probably seen my products around town. They look like this. That? Okay. You know what? I was like, I got my contingent up here. I was expecting, oh yeah, totally. So, I started PF in 2008 as an Etsy shop. And I'm getting over a cough, guys, sorry. I'm gonna take some water. Give me the light, girl! Spotlight. Now I'm here. So, I started PF as an Etsy shop in 2008, and what PF looks like today is really different. We're a home fragrance company. We make everything right here in Los Angeles County. We're sold at over 2,500 stores worldwide. Major partners like Urban Outfitters, Whole Foods, CB2, amazing independent boutiques. We got Marianne from LA County store right here. She's our Silver Lakes office. Potato, and our very own flagship. Gotta give a shout out. That's an Echo Park. I run PF with my husband and business partner, Tom. Yep, he's in this bright yellow hoodie, you can't miss him. But when I started it, my dream was basically just to make a living making things by hand. And candles were the thing that allowed me to do that. It wasn't until 2013, so that's about 5 years, when things really started to take off. And I wanted to give up before then. I could not make ends meet. It was really difficult. I had 2 cross-country moves. When I finally landed in California, I basically couldn't even find a part-time job to support myself. So I kind of had no option but to make PF work. We had a really lucky turn of events in 2013 when we got picked up by West Elm, and that was the point when Tom came on board and he said, hey, teach me how to make candles and we'll build this thing together. And we did. And fast forward to where we are today, from 1 person in a 2nd bedroom to we're 57 people with our warehouse in Commerce, and then our flagship in Echo Park. And we built that with absolutely 0 funding, but more crazily, 0 business knowledge, okay? Like, I don't have an MBA, I didn't take a business class, I have a fine arts degree, okay? But this is the thing, is that I was raised on like the school of Google, okay? I didn't know how to do anything, so I just looked it up. And you just figure that shit out as you go along. So if that's the case that you're in, welcome. There's hope for you. Basically, our whole thing with our products is that we create unisex fragrances. We're trying to create high-end experiences at an entry-level price point. We do use eco-friendly materials. I believe, as our company has grown, that we have a responsibility for our planet. I know this ties into the theme today, and I'll talk about that a little bit, but we believe that if everyone switched to soy wax, it would be a better alternative. It would reduce our reliance on petroleum-based products, and it's carbon neutral. So that's basically about me. Let's get talking about our theme. Okay. That's it. And we're done! Okay. So today's global theme is preserve. Obviously, when you're thinking about that theme of preserve, the first thing that comes to my mind is our planet. You want to preserve our natural resources. I'm probably preaching to the converted in a group of Los Angeles creatives if I'm talking about that. So the fun news is I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about something a little bit more intangible, which is how you preserve ideas and your dreams. And when you're coming up against that, you know, how do you preserve that? Is it at odds with the concept of evolution and evolving those dreams? So let's go back. We're gonna talk about what my dream was. So I mentioned that I just wanted to make a living making things by hand. I was 22 when I started my business. Just to give you a level, like a vision of what the experience level was, I literally named it after French fries. That's what the PF stands for, Pumphrey. So that's what I was working on. I didn't really envision this for myself, but I'm very grateful for it. But obviously that dream has evolved. This is me in 2011. Okay, I know, so cute. I'm like, hi, I can't pay my rent. That's the truth. Basically, I wanted to make enough money to drive around the country in a Volkswagen bus and sell candles out of the back of it. So in reality, this was my dream. This was my dream. I think I watched too much Scooby-Doo as a kid. But if you look at that, obviously that dream evolved. Is that the same dream that I started with? Is that the same concept that I started with? And coming from kind of the indie community, it's something you think about all the time. Because what drew somebody into you, you know, you have this pressure to keep that maybe the same so that they keep coming back for more. And that's what got me thinking about is the concept of preservation and taking something and putting it in a box and not changing it at odds with our need to evolve. Because this is the internet era. I don't know if things are actually going faster, but it feels like it, okay? It feels like as a product-based business, we can't keep up. We're basically like, hey, we're developing this product for a year and then somebody else already has it out, it sucks. But the reality also personally scaling a business, when I was just one person, I didn't need to worry about having an HR department. I didn't need to worry about things like liabilities and all that stuff. So my needs have changed and my dream evolved along with those needs. I think that when I kind of look back, and I don't have a lot of time to kind of reflect on that, but what that meant was I was literally trying to take my life and making ends meet into my own hands by having a handmade business. That's what that means to me. So if I talk about what that core is, what that core of that dream is, that's about making a living, right? I wanted to make ends meet. I was not really in the position where I could say no to things that would pay me, okay? I wanted to run this artistic dream, but I also wanted to pay my rent and pay myself and eat and all that stuff. So that's kind of what I have distilled down as the core of that. And I don't think that that has really changed because now, okay, I have to make a living for myself. Then it's, okay, Tom and I have to make a living and maybe we can build this. And now it's, okay, we're gonna make a living for these people that work here. And when I think about that being the core, that's the core of my dream, that has not changed. And that's how I preserve that while continuing to evolve it and having those kind of difficult situations come up. I'm gonna tell you a story that, look, what you need to know about why this is embarrassing to me is because I'm a very proud person. Like, a lot of entrepreneurs are, and it's difficult for them to ask for help. That's like, you know, it's like admitting you're weak or something like that. But that's what you need to know going in. So in 2016, we had the opportunity to pitch and sell to Target. Sorry, Tom. I would have a picture of myself there, which would be much more like speaker-oriented. But I was 9 months pregnant at the time, and I was so bloated. I was just sitting, I'm like in a chair over here, and we're doing a press junket for Target, and I'm like, hey, do you love my products? Will you write about them? Okay, so basically we had this opportunity to pitch and sell to Target, and we beat out hundreds of other local people for this Shop Local project in 29 local Target stores, and we sold there. It was for a limited time only. And when we thought about doing this, we're like, I mean, what the hell? Who gets that opportunity? But second, we thought, is this in line with what our core is? Okay, we're trying to make a high-end product more accessible. We're trying to reinvest the profits, and the big orders are how we reinvest the profits and don't have to take outside money. So that right there is in line with our core beliefs. So we said, hell yeah, let's do it. End consumer, stoked. I still have people saying, hey, I saw your candles at Target. Only, sometimes like people were confused because the end caps at Target are real gnarly, and they get like this, we did this, okay? Don't let that fool you into thinking if you got into Target, that's how your things are gonna look, okay? But the people that weren't stoked were our B2B consumers. So some of our independent boutiques, it was difficult for them. And we asked Target to price match because we knew that going in, these independent boutiques were gonna say, hey, that's not cool, Target's so much bigger than us. And we did get some pushback. We did get a few boutiques who dropped us. But I think the worst part about this was being called a sellout. So as sort of like an indie community person, the only thing worse than being called a sellout that you can be called is a poser. It's pretty gnarly. One boutique in particular took to social media to antagonize us. Their husband would troll us. They called us sellouts. They were emailing us, and it was just like, dude, give it up, you know? But it hurt me, and it also hurt my husband, who's like a hardcore kid who grew up lower middle class, first of his family to graduate college, second of his family to graduate high school. He's like, look, I had this opportunity. I don't get the privilege to kind of be like, no, I'm not gonna take that money. This is an incredible opportunity. Why am I gonna say no to that? Which, you know, you can feel like, hey, this is right in line with all of what we're doing, but other people may not agree with that. And that's sort of something as a small business owner we had to swallow, which, let me do like a quick aside. This is not in my slides, but I think that certain communities are more focused on non-commercial success than other communities. Because there are some communities where you want that commercial success. That is the hallmark of success. But there are other communities where if you have that success, you need to kind of be like, yeah, but like it's not a big deal. Hey, if you built that, if you need to go out there and earn that paycheck, good for you, and you should pat yourself on the back and never not be proud of the way that you did that, okay? All right? That's your problem. It's not for you. This isn't for you. Okay. But that brings me to my next topic, which is how do you do this? How do you grow? How do you grow yourself? How do you grow a business with care, with thought to what brought people to you in the first place? I think one of the most important things is communication. So, how many people are in marketing here? Okay, so you guys know about touch points. How many people don't know about touch points? Okay, that's like a good percentage. Basically, touch points are the number of times a customer has to see your product before they think about purchasing it. And in the digital age, the number of touch points is like 8 to 10, which is crazy. They have to see it 8 to 10 times. But your message, your communication about what you're doing, it's the same. You need to communicate that again and again and again. And I think that when you're thinking about scaling, when you're thinking about telling other people your dreams, don't be afraid to tell them again and again. But more importantly, know that people cannot read your mind. This is like the biggest lesson I've learned as a business owner. Like also, this is marital advice. They can't read your mind, right? He thinks he can after 11 years. He can. But you need to communicate and tell them, and then tell them again. And then 6 more times, okay? And tell them not only what you're doing, but tell them why. Guys, this is the best gift in this entire thing. I'm gonna leave this up while I talk. And you guys have to be serious, okay? Look, the why is important too. The why you do something. Is this distracting? I love it. All right. Why are you doing something? It's not enough to know what you're doing. People need to know the motivation behind that. I believe what I'm doing now, okay, making a living for people, what motivates me, what keeps me going, is that maybe this is incredibly idealistic, but I want to build a company that is different and actually gives a shit about their staff and cares about their customers, and that's what my goal is to build that. So that's my why. I'm going to be real with you that it's really stressful to do what we're doing. If you're a creative person, if you're working for yourself, even if you're not, don't fool yourself. Don't let Instagram fool you into thinking that it's easy. It's not. And that's why you have to have your why, what you're doing. Otherwise, if you lose sight of that, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna give up. Like my get out of Dodge plan is like retiring to a really small town and opening a boutique there that's really cute. So in my Get Out of Dodge plan, I'm still an entrepreneur, but like really low key. But that's what keeps me going. That why is what keeps me going. I want to think about, with preservation of ideas, it's not like our damn national parks where we need rules and regulations to protect that. Hey, that is like above board. With ideas, we have to be open to their evolution. Because if your dream is to go and achieve a certain thing, like my dream was to make a living for myself, this was the way that I did it. I don't know if there was another path for me, but I said yes to this path, and I just didn't look back. And I didn't stop and wonder. I was just like, hey, this door is opening in front of me, I'm gonna go in here. And then we just kept following it. So don't think about it, putting it on the wall, putting it in a museum. This is a living thing. This is kind of my wrapping it up slide. Okay, so you know your what, you know your why. And what I want to encourage you to do is compromise on that how. Be flexible on that how. Be open to different experiences that might get you to that end goal. So if your goal is to work, then work and take the work where it comes. If your goal is artistic integrity, then you know what your path is. There is no shame in whatever you want to do, but you need to know what that is and why that's motivating you. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is purpose. For me, preservation is all about your purpose. And your purpose is going to be that what and that why together. That's what's going to drive you. That's what's going to get you through those long nights. I know for me, that's definitely what's kept me going. Yeah, you know what? I think a lot about, I studied acting. I never pursued acting. But I think about the commercial success that certain actors have, and I sit there and I wonder, do you think that like Chris Hemsworth is like, man, I wish I could do like a really sick indie movie right now? He's not, he's like, this is sweet money via Thor, and I'm making a living as an actor. That's the situation. And sometimes if you're flexible on how you're getting there, that unlocks that next chapter for you. That allows you to go on to do the things. So say you do want that artistic integrity, maybe you have to have that first career to get you to that second place. Like Paul McCartney did all this weird shit in Wings and had like 3 songs in one on every single time. He's the best. It's the best. He's such a weird, he's so weird and I love it. And he had to do the Beatles first. He couldn't come straight out the gate with the Wings. Everyone would be like, who is this guy? This is understand for me. All right, you guys, that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I hope that you can leave in, think a little bit about that purpose-driven mission, and think about being open to the ways that you're going to get there. Again, thank you so much to the team for putting this on. Have an amazing